April just ended. April was a month. It flew. Slowly. And quickly. All at one time. I read a lot of books in April. More than I probably have read in my entire life. In any given month. But as we know, time is meaningless. So, does it matter? Did it ever matter? More on this. And other existential thoughts at 8. I get very sick of doing wrap-up videos. I find them to be quite dry. So for every book that I read, excluding the books that I read for my 24-hour readathon, because I talked about those so much that I don't wish to talk about them again, I am going to pick a clip from a piece of media that I really enjoy to help illustrate how I felt about the book. Enjoy this video. You might not learn much about the book in terms of the plot, the characters, or even really how I felt about it, but you will get a general vibe. And that's how I base my book purchases. The first book on my list is Girl Gone Viral by Alicia Ray. I read a NetGalley arc of this. This is the second book in the Modern Love series, the first being Girl Gone Viral, and this follows a young woman who is dealing with PTSD and trauma, and she ends up falling in love with her longtime bodyguard, who also deals with a lot of the same issues. I really like this one a lot. It was very sweet, and to illustrate the vibe, I have chosen to use a clip from New Girl. I really think this clip encapsulates the chemistry these two characters have, and in particular the moment when the main female character realizes that she has the hots for her longtime bodyguard.
I got it. I got it. I don't even want.
Next, I read all of the books in the Dance Upon the Air series by Nora Roberts. This is a series from 2000. It's a romance series about 3 women who are witches and who live on an island off the coast of Massachusetts. They fall in love, they develop their witch powers, and they defeat an evil curse. And honestly, it's exactly like practical magic. Really, the vibe is so much like practical magic that I genuinely think the reason why I love this series so much, despite the fact that it is very dated, is because of how much I love practical magic. The vibes are immaculate, the cozy vibes are even more so. Oh, for the reading rush, I read Serpent and Dove, which I hated. And I felt like my relationship to Serpent and Dove was the same relationship that you see at the beginning of Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, which has recently come back into the zeitgeist, although it never really left, with the notification that we will be getting Midnight Sun, a book that heavily features on the cover a disgusting half-slice view of a pomegranate, and it makes me very angry and incensed. I have not read Twilight. I wasn't going to. This has really added to that. Anyway, in this clip you see Edward Cullen looking disgusted at Bella Swan. Bella Swan living her life much like Serpent and Dove. Me living my life, but growing very wary. Becoming increasingly annoyed, frustrated, horrified, and covered in a thin layer of icy sweat and goosebumps in a bad way. Much like Edward, and much like the pomegranate cover made me feel. So, I also read The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan for the reading rush. This was a reread and inspired me to reread the whole series. I'll talk about some of the other books here in a minute. The Lightning Thief. Oh wow. I feel like this book gives me the same vibe as my personal favorite scene from my personal favorite television show, Parks and Rec, particularly when Leslie Knope is walking across the ice rink and all of her friends are trying to help her as they'll slip and slide around. I feel like that is Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson just trying to live, where all of these people in his life try to keep him from falling down. Honestly, is this a stretch? Maybe. Did I just want to include the scene? Definitely. But is it sort of true? Maybe. This month I also read Sea of Monsters and Titan's Curse, the second and the third book from the Percy Jackson series. I technically read the Titan's Curse, I believe, in May, but I'm counting some of these that I read at the beginning of May because time is nothing. I have put these two together and chosen a great scene, which is from Arrested Development. It's all the times that the siblings in Arrested Development do the chicken dance, which I feel like really symbolizes the gods doing the chicken dance to the demigods to make them do the stuff that they don't want to do.
Stand up to the man. He's a chicken. A chicken. Go, 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 go!
So just imagine every time one of the siblings does the chicken dance, that's like Ares or Poseidon, and then the other person is like Percy or Annabeth, or, you know, you get the point.
You're just a big chicken.
I also read a little book no one's heard of called Tuesday Looney Talks to Ghosts. It basically follows a young woman who decides to go on this wild goose chase treasure hunt after this rich old white man, eccentric rich old white man, dies and sets a treasure hunt. It's like if Ready Player One was better, with better written female characters, not set in a spacey Google goggle glasses world, and it's in real life, and it's a little more dark academia. It was a decent audiobook. I thought it was okay. Will I read the next book? I don't know. It's really hard to tell what things are supernatural and what things are real in this book, and the romance is kind of weak. Anyway, I felt like this book really gave me the vibes of when Michael Scott is running through Dunder Mifflin during the fire drill, because no one knew what was happening in this book, and I didn't know what was happening in this book, so.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
I read all of the Truly Devious books this month, meaning into May a little bit, and I really enjoyed them. I read Truly Devious, I read The Vanishing Stair, and I read Hand on the Wall, and I have a separate video for each of them because I liked all of them separately. So for Truly Devious, I thought that I would pick a clip that felt like the first interaction that David and Stevie have together, where Lady Bird's character meets Timothée Chalamet's character in Lady Bird. And I wanted to do this because let me tell you guys, David has mad rich boy conspiracy theorist energy in the first book, and that's what you see in this interaction.
You don't have a cell phone?
Nah,
Good girl. The government didn't have to put tracking devices on us. We bought them and put them on ourselves.
I don't own a tracking device.
No. The cell phones. See?
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
For The Vanishing Stair, because David is on some hijinks, I wanted to use my favorite thing from Schitt's Creek.
Ooh, David.
Which is all the time Alexis says, ooh, David, because honestly, everybody at Ellingham Academy feels that way about David during the events of The Vanishing Stair.
Ew, no, David.
And then finally, because I did have to bring it back to the mystery for Hand on the Wall, I used this moment where Jake Peralta is explaining to Captain Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine that he is going to solve some cases, because at this point Stevie has solved some cases, but she's run into some walls, and that's how it feels. Everybody in her life is like, dude, are you going to solve this case? And she's like, yeah, I'm working on it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of energy. She is Jake Peralta in the Brooklyn Nine-Nine world, but at Ellingham Academy. It's a stretch, but we're going to go with it.
Concerned that the open cases mound of garbage on your desk has become so much higher than the closed cases mound of garbage.
All right, sir, let me hit you with a little analogy. Are you familiar with race cars?
Formula One or stock?
That's already way more than I know about it. The point is, I'm a super awesome race car who's hit a couple of unlucky speed bumps.
And then finally, I wanted to end with a book that I, again, technically read in May. I'm doing a reread/finishing of the Selection series because I read the first book in 2014 and didn't read the other two, and I want to read them before the Netflix show comes out. So the Selection is the only one I've read so far, and I have two for this one. The first is the scene in Little Women from 2019 where Jo is talking about how much she loves women.
I just feel like women.
Because I feel like that's America for most of this book. She's like, women. But also I wanted to reuse the Twilight clip for how I feel about Aspen, because I don't like him. Maxim is right there being adorable, and she wants to, you know what I mean? Yeah, okay. So that is everything that I read that I wanted to talk about in April / a little bit into May. I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of format. I just wanted to do something different. I get bored, like we all do, bored in my house, and I'm in my house bored. Please let me know if you guys have any thoughts. I'd love to hear them. I'm going to read The Elite now. So yeah, have a lovely day.